So, this was me as a kid, and this is me now. This is how I went from being a fat kid to becoming shredded. As a kid, I wasn't always the fat kid, but as I grew older, I just started eating more. Don't remember why. I wasn't bullied, but I just loved food. I ate everything around me, and I didn't like wasting food. So I always got more food than I could eat and would force myself to finish it because I didn't want to waste it. As time passed by, I was gaining a substantial amount of weight for a kid, and others around me were starting to notice and started pointing it out. My brothers would pick on me a bit, and my cousins would also joke about it. I'm not telling you this to play the victim. I had done it to myself, so it's rightfully so that it would happen. I also had a baby face, and my aunts would call me cute and chubby. And to be honest, at some point, I just started becoming more self-conscious about my body. There was an instance where I was a kid during basketball practice where we had to split into two teams to scrimmage. We didn't have practice jerseys, so it was just shirts versus skins. I was on the skins team, but I was so conscious of my body that I didn't want to take my shirt off, so it created a lot of confusion during that practice. But that was one of the pivotal points where I knew I didn't want to be fat. Keynote, I was still young this age, so my mind wasn't fully developed yet, so I would go into being super motivated for a day, work out, then quit, and this would go on until I was in middle school, 7th grade to be exact. I always wanted to play football, so I signed up, and my dream at one point was to go pro. That didn't happen, but it introduced me to weights, and I started developing a passion to lift, and I just became more obsessed with it. Just being transparent as well, I started lifting because I wanted abs, and abs get girls was my mindset. It's embarrassing now that I think about it, but the motivation fueled me to work out. 2 years go by, and I'm a freshman. This is where things really started taking off. During this point, I didn't know anything about nutrition, and to be honest, I was just eating whatever my mom was making, eating a lot of meat. Eat big, get big was the motto. It still is now, but it's a little bit different. But I didn't know protein existed, or it was even a thing, until I was introduced to it by another one of my cousins. He would always pick me and my brother up to go lift at his house since he had a weight set, and one day he said, "Here, have some protein." After we had finished the workout, he explained the benefits of it, and I was immediately hooked. I had my mom buy me a tub of protein from Walmart. Yeah, it wasn't the best choice, but it was cheap. We weren't the wealthiest people, and I didn't have a job yet either because I hadn't turned 16, so it was anything goes during that point. I just needed protein. Fast forward to my junior year, I finally got my driver's license, a job, learned more about nutrition, and more so, my first gym membership. This was the turning point. I became obsessed with working out, and everything else I did was centered around working out. If I wasn't doing after school workouts for practice, then I worked out. It didn't take me long to get lean. I got very lean, but I knew that wasn't satisfied. Something was missing. I didn't just want abs at this point. I wanted to be bigger. So I started my first bulk, a dirty bulk, and it was one of the biggest mistakes I made. I got stronger during this phase, but along with it came a lot of fat. Not much muscle. I was devastated. I had just wasted 6 months bulking with nothing really to show. But I didn't let that affect me. I knew that I could lose the fat because I had done before, and I was not going to let that little bump affect me. If anything, it just made me more obsessed with the process. I graduated high school, and well, I went all in.